If you've went online lately and you've searched for a large box braiding parting tutorial or a sizing chart, I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of different ones where you kind of get different mixed options. You have some where they look kind of large, some look medium. You don't really get an actual answer on what is a large. And that's important to know because you want to make sure that you have the right amount of product, the right amount of hair that you're going to need, and you want to know how long it's going to take you to complete this style. Especially for people, if you are charging for this style to be done, you want to know how much you should be charging. And all of that goes into play with making sure that you have the right size for what you are trying to complete. It doesn't matter if you went on Google, if you went on YouTube, or you went on Instagram or Facebook, you're gonna get mixed answers. So I'm gonna go ahead and break it down for you guys today so you can see exactly how many rows and around how long it should take you and all of the good stuff. So stay tuned for this series to watch the other sizes too.
For large, we're going to start with making 2 sections in the back row. We want to make sure these 2 sections are even. So this area here, just make it into 2 even spots. And then in order to get it out the way, we're just going to braid it up to get it out the way. All right, so this is going to give you your large, and you want to make sure that they are even on both sides, and then you're going to do the same thing to this other side. It's easier if you've already done one side to just follow that line to the other side. So you already know you're here, and you're going to follow it over, and then we're going to look from the side, even it up. So typically when I have one row, I like to just combine these 2, but so that way you guys can see them, I'm just going to keep them separate. All right, so now you got your lower nape and your next row. So this is 1, this is 2. Now we're going to do our next section. Now we want to make sure that this is the same as up here. I don't use a comb, but you guys can use a comb if you need to see like, okay, this is the same as this here. Or you can take it here and part off, put your comb there, put your finger where it's at, and then that'll let you know where to part for here. So part that section and bring it all the way across. Make sure that it's even on that side. So here it's pretty thick. See how wide that is versus over here. So you can bring your comb over here and then see how much you need to take off. Now we're going to clean this up. All right, now we're going to do the next part. We're going to come up just a little bit more and part off this one. You should have 2 in this section, same as you have 2 in the other section. So make sure this one over here is the same size as this over here. Once it is, make sure it's cleaned up. And then braid it out the way. Now this is going to start for the horseshoe. You should have 2, 2, and then it'll be your horseshoe for a large. So we are going to come over to our front one, and then we're just going to add the pieces here and there. So we're just going to travel this line over. And then just continue braiding across. You guys can always do these in plaits. You could also do them where you're ponytailing them. I'm doing the braids, so that way I am keeping not so many tools and things that I'm using. That's really the only reason why I'm doing that. And then now we're going to bring this one straight over 2. Now on the mannequin head, they have a thicker area here. You can bring this down, but it kind of looks curved on the video if I was to bring it down some, because they have a dip over here. So bring it straight across here. Same for up here. Bring it straight across here. That is going to leave you with the start part of your horseshoe. Now, since this is on the mannequin head, I'm going to clean up this part and bring this down some. If you have done this correctly, when you're looking at a person, this part should go straight up to start their horseshoe. That's how you know you're in the right spot for a side part on both sides, and you're getting it where you're having it directly even for if you're going to be doing your middle part too. So that keeps all your braids in line and even. So I am going to now do the other side. I'm going to take this and take it out the way. Your front piece and that middle piece from this area back here, just combine them, because we're going to use it for the horseshoe in a second. Now let's do the same thing that we did over here to this side. Now when doing your large, this should take you no more than 3 to 4 hours to get this done, assuming that you are washing the hair, blowing it out, and doing the style. All of that should be done within the 3 to 4 hours. Some things that may extend your time out would be, one, if they want a longer length than your typical mid-back or waist, or if they have a thicker density of hair, you would have more braids on the head than you would if a person has a thinner density of hair. It can also extend your time if a person is getting a specialty parting. So keep those things in mind when you are getting ready to start putting out your time frame in your pricing guide. Let's double check our part at the point, and we're at the point of our braid. So see there? So now it's going to be even on both sides for that person's head. Cool. So now we've done our 2 rows in the back, 2 rows across the head, and now we're going to go to the top. Okay, so now we have the part for the horseshoe. This is your horseshoe. You want to make sure that you have 4 going across for a large set. You can go from the front of the person's head and go straight across to get the thickness that you want in the front. That's typically what I do, so that way I can get a nice even layout for the front. So go through, get you one at the top. Just do some big braids so that way you can see how big they are and see if you want to adjust your sizing. So I'm gonna come across here. It looks uneven, so I'm gonna fix that one. So remember, when we use the comb, you guys can do the same thing here if you want to, because that would also help you see you are about at a large for your sectioning. All right, and then now we're gonna do this other part, this back one, and go across. Right, and this is how you part off a large. So you have 4 at the top and you have 4 with these. So 2 in the middle, 2 in the middle, 2 at the bottom, and that will give you your large base. Now from here, this is where we decide if we're going to be doing a box, triangle, rhombus, or whatever type of part that you're doing. But this is where you would get for a large pre-party. Okay, now we're gonna do it as if this person did want a side part or a deep side part, but they did not want a middle part. I typically have a lot of people that do not want a middle part, but they do like parting off from the side. So this is perfect for them. In order to start this one off though, you do need to start with the middle part so that way you can get it even. So go ahead from that person's nose, rock it up, go straight back. So that way you got your middle part again if you had already combined them.
Okay, so this person has, now we have 2 even sides. In order to make it where we are doing it where they don't have the middle part, we're going to part a little bit off from this middle. So we're going to take a little bit from this side, and then we're going to take a little bit from this side to make us one section to part down. So we're going to have one in the middle, they're going to have one off to the side and one off to the other side. So let's go ahead and part a little bit off of this one. And there's some light here. All right, so now after we take in a little bit off of this one, we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. Take a little bit off of that one too. This one needs a little bit more. And this is how it would look if they are going to get the one where it's an offside part. So they can flip this way and flip this way and go. Okay, this next one we're gonna do as if the person wants a middle part. So for your middle part, of course, go from that middle line. Use the tip of the person's nose. Get your middle part. You've done that and you've gotten yourself sectioned off. Now we're going to split this one into 2. So it's going to be 2 rows across this way now. One of the benefits of doing it this way, it makes it look as if the braids are smaller on this top, but as long as you're keeping the width as far as how far apart they are, they're still going to be a large set, but it's going to make that person feel like they have a lot more braids than what they do. So this would basically end up being 3 braids in this section. And then you're going to take this one and put this together, and this would end up being 4 braids in this section. Because you're going to split that one down the middle, split it here, and split it there. Then you're going to have 4 there. So it's going to give them a full look from the side, but it'll be flat coming from looking straight on. It'll be a flat look. One of the things to just remember when you're working with large sets, you're pretty much doing the number 2 and 4 over and over and over again when you're doing a large set. All right, go ahead and group this one off. Remember, you're going to have 3 going down the side here. Now, for the middle part, I always like to go back through and double check my front for my middle parts. So when you guys are doing that front for the middle part, you see how this one, it's curved up this way? You can take this and curve it down just a tad and take off this slither. And then that will make it where this is a lot more uniform on that very front row. When you're doing the other ones, they automatically lay out the way that they need to. But when you're doing a middle part, sometimes that can look where these 2 look perfect. See how the thickness is on this one and on this one, they look great. And then you got here and it's just a little tip off. Just slice that part off, fix that up, you're good to go. And that's pretty much all you do if you wanted the person to have a middle part. So
Don't she look like Cynthia from the Rugrats? Okay, I quit.
when
That
you
was
guys
fun.
are doing this style parting, you want to make sure that you're doing the right style for the look that you're going for. So for this one, they can part directly down the middle, an offside part, and a deep side part. They can also do the other way, middle, side part, and a deep side part. So this is pretty universal where you can do pretty much any part that you want. But remember, if the person does not like seeing long parts going down their head, this is not the top parting that you want for them.